Pierre, thanks for coming out, mate. Well, as you know, it's time to renew your contract for the second half of the season. Basically, terms are the same, except for one minor tweak, which just clears up a bit of an issue that we've had between us. Yep, that's right. Contractually, you will be the number 2 driver. No, don't sign it then, mate. I'm sure Markelov would love to come back and race with us. Do you need a pen? Might want to bend over that barrel as you sign, mate. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Aussie Villain Racing. Today it is the Hungarian Grand Prix and well, before we get to that, we need to re-sign number 2 driver Pierre Gasly to a new contract. So let's go see what he's willing to do here for us. And well, low risk is I don't want to pay more than he's already on. I mean, where's he going really? I could high risk it, but let's not yeah, let's not risk anything here. Let's just get him signing on as the number 2. And there we go. So that's Gasly signed up, ready to go for the rest of the season. So that was the big bit of business that we had. We've got some sponsors here as well. I'm going to say we just renew it because sponsors are boring. Let's go, oh, not that one. Let's go to activities here and see what we have to do. We've got about a week. It looks like 2 weeks between the 2 races. Second driver external training, no, Gasly's good enough. A filming promo, a power team building event, second driver PR filming, is that going to distract him? Let's try that, maybe that'll distract him a little bit. A sponsor event, that'll be team acclaim, so let's go with that. And a funded team away event, 98, I mean the resource points aren't that important to us, so let's go do that as well. And that all looks like a very good way to spend our time between races. Now, we have 1.5 million, which means we can't really do anything with the facilities. R&D, as we know, it's maxed out. Let's just double check and make sure nothing has changed on the power front there. Now, I can already see it's locked. So that's possibly going to mean, until we get the next spec upgrade, that those things will actually just be locked for us. If we look at the R&D progress, it looks as though Red Bull have overtaken us now. We are no longer the best car in Formula 1. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, it's getting very, very close, isn't it? And that might just mean that it's more and more difficult for us to be right at the front of the field, which will be interesting to see how that goes as time goes on here. Now, we're halfway through the season. This is the race 9 of 16. So I think we could probably just look to go and use some fresh engine parts. There's no need having all these fresh engine parts right at at the end of the season. We might as well start to use them up now. We might save the energy store because we've only got 3 of those for the season, and they're not particularly well worn anyway. The gearbox, are we doing a new gearbox? No, one more race and then we get a new gearbox fitted as well. The corporate side of things, we did just renew that, didn't we? So that's all fine. Driver contracts, we've just renewed that, so that is fine. The driver market is there, but we don't have to worry about that right now. Finances, Gasly's expensive, isn't he? And the finance history there we can see as well as we plummet towards having no money. A reminder of the standings, it was a disaster for me last time out in Silverstone, wasn't it? No points for me, Gasly first, Verstappen second, and suddenly I'm 4th in the championship and a long way off the top. The constructors are still there for us, so we still got that to play for, but it's those 3, isn't it? A 13th, a 15th and a 13th. They are the 3 results that I just can't afford to be having. So outside that, my worst finish is 5th. So when I'm competitive, I'm generally not too bad. But we'll have to wait and see how we do today. Now, historically, at the Hungaroring, last season we were 5th. The season before that, we had a good race too, didn't we? We were 4th. And the first season, well, we were 20th. Let's not worry too much about that. But it's a track that I seem to have done well on, despite the fact I don't feel like I ever am that quick there. So let's hope that continues. The rivalry with Perez is very, very close after Silverstone, and the driver details, nothing much has changed there after Silverstone, except for maybe for kilometers driven. Everything else has, well, probably gone backwards if we're being honest. But let's go, not that one. Let's go and sim ahead here, see what happens, if there's any issues we need to deal with, anything like that. And if not, it'll be off for Hungary. Oh, we do have a durability team event. All right, so it's another one of these ones where it's a joke on Twitter that wasn't intended to be offensive, but has maybe been taken as such. I always think that yeah, if you don't, I don't know.
The department wants
well, just apologise. The thing that annoys me with that is that you don't know how important the person is. Like, is this the head of our durability department, or is it, you know, the intern kid that's just doesn't know what he should and shouldn't say on Twitter? But anyway, that is all done and handled with. Let's head off to Hungary and hope this time. I don't think we do want rain, do we? Because Silverstone was not good. Okay, so we can see the track map there if you are interested, and the weather forecast. It's going to be dry. We've got a nice dry Hungarian ring, which is excellent. I'm going to go do some free practice, and I will see you for qualifying. Alright, so free practice is done, and 14th, 15th seem to be where I was, several seconds off of Gasly at the top, and the Red Bulls as well, obviously. So I'm not sure what's wrong. The second sector, I'm nowhere. I'm over a second off the top cars just in the second sector. First sector, I'm competitive with them. Third sector, I'm a little bit off. But yeah, second sector, I've been playing around with the setup. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see if I found something at the end there. Alright, so we're going to come around and have a second crack at this. That first lap was not our lap. We do have a delta for the first part of the lap before I bailed on it. Good exit out of here. So we are already a little bit up, which is obviously a positive. We just started to snap there at the wrong time. So let's see if we can get something resembling a good second sector here. The worst thing with this second sector is I don't actually know where it's going wrong. I tried watching some onboards of the other cars in free practice, and they look like they're doing roughly what I'm doing. So I suspect it might just be something as, you know, I'm losing a lot of time on exits or entrances in the corner. Put me off there, mate. Alright, see if we can finish this off and see what we've done. We'll need to be in the 113s to be competitive in terms of actually qualifying overall. The 114.2 is just about as good as I've done, I think. I feel like this sort of sums it up nicely. You can see I've got myself and Gasly there highlighted. I'm just marginally faster than Gasly in the first sector. Am I almost or over a second off in the second sector? In the third sector, again, we're roughly even. He's about a quarter of a second up. So the middle sectors was absolutely destroying me. Alright, so I didn't go back out again, and, well, we have snuck through. We were the car at risk, and, well, let's hope we're not starting P16. Let's go to Q2. Alright, we're coming around. This is our second set of tyres in Q2. I've stuffed up 2 laps already. We haven't really got a competitive lap time. And, well, I don't know where I'm making up this time that I was lacking to these cars in Q1. There's, you know, 1 or 2 places we could maybe tidy things up a little bit, but yeah, I just am a little bit at a loss as to exactly why I'm so far off the pace here. I mean, it might be as simple as everybody else's cars are better, and so my lack of driving ability just starts to show itself. I'd say don't get excited about the Delta because we are several seconds off the pace on our lap that we have crossed the line with. I've turned in too late there. Alright, can we finish this, please? Is this going to get us anywhere near out of the session? It's a 14.5, it's 15.
Last lap moves you onto the 8th row of the grid.
Alright, this is going to be our last shot. In terms of petrol, in terms of time, in terms of everything. Do we have anything left? We have had some good results in Hungary, but we've got a little bit of luck in Hungary, which I think, unfortunately, may have run out here. We are a little bit up, and I mean a little bit.
Minutes remaining in the session. We need a good lap here, or we're out of qualifying.
Well, that'll do that. So there we go. That is us knocked out of qualifying, unfortunately. We're between the Aston Martins. Yeah, I just don't seem to have pace all of a sudden, do I? But anyway, let's go do this race. Maybe we'll get lucky with a safety car or something.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Sergio Perez and Bottas, Hamilton, Norris, Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda and Giovinazzi. Oldtimer, Lundgaard, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, Joe, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Well, don't know what to do here. We do have a little bit of strategy option. It seems like we've just had no-stop races recently, doesn't it? There's a big part of me that thinks reverse the strategy because I'm lacking pace. So if we can gain a few places off the line maybe and then go onto the softs when everybody else is on aging mediums, that could work for us maybe, couldn't it? So if we edit the strategy, so let's try starting on a medium. The other potential advantage to this is that it should mean at some point that I have some clear track as well. And maybe I can interfere with the leaders, try and help Gasly that way. So if we come in lap 11, can we do 7 laps on the soft? Yeah, I think we can, can't we? I don't see why not. So that's what we'll do. We'll start on the mediums. We'll come in, we'll put the softs on. We can take a little bit of gas out of the car because we don't need that much. It's an 18-lap race, so let's just get it down to just under 19 laps just to be safe. And, well, it's going to be an epic race from points to get anything from here, isn't it? Alright, going for the second race in a row. Disappointing qualifying. Let's see if we can salvage anything from this. Pierre on the front row, of course. See what sort of a start we get. I haven't been getting the best starts lately, have I? It looks like we've got a car on the inside, Lundgaard going past us. We're on the medium tyre, so we just need to limit damage at this point. We can get a run down the outside, maybe. It looks like we may have got Lundgaard. Is that Alonso? If that's Ocon in front of him. Looks like we're sort of held ground, which isn't too bad. Can we get Alonso up the inside into turn 2? It's going to be tight if we can just ease him out, and there we go, P14. Well, we made up 1 space off the line, which is not the worst, as we jump and see everybody going too wide around that corner is very, very brave indeed. But let's see. Now, this is the part of the track where I've been struggling. Now, we do have a tyre deficit, of course, as we just block to the inside there just to make sure that Fernando's not going to send one in on us. But yeah, this is the part of the track where we struggle anyway, and of course on the medium tyre, what I just need to do now is settle in, not make mistakes, try and stay as close to the cars in front as possible. If we could dream of being in the DRS zone when that opens up in a couple of laps' time, that would be even better. Alonso having a look, oh, I've let him go a little bit too far. We try and pinch him to the apex, and we should get a better run off the corner. And there we go, we have indeed stayed in front. But that was, well, me living a little bit of sleep there to the fact that I'm not very good at that part of the track. Partly intentional. I go in a little bit deep sometimes, but then if I can kind of, if I'm thinking quick enough, use that to sort of square off the exit and get a better run down the straight. So kind of like if you're starting a qualifying lap. So hopefully it hasn't lost out too much time there. And in fact, we've pulled out a little bit on Alonso, and closed in a little bit on Ocon as well. So we're in this Alpine sandwich. We just need to try and make sure we stay in this Alpine sandwich. Sort of looking a little bit further up the road. Stroll in 9th. Could he be a bit of a roadblock for us potentially? Giovinazzi in 11th will almost certainly be a roadblock for us. So there's certainly a way maybe to get forward. But of course the issue we're going to have, you know, even if say this is where we are at pit stops, you know, we may have I may come out on a softer tyre when everybody else is on the mediums, but am I going to be fast enough on old mediums to not lose out to them, or while they're on their soft mediums, you know, we'll probably be in very big danger of an undercut. And, well, then am I going to be fast enough on soft tyres to be able to actually do an overtake? It's Alonso sticking his nose up the inside. I went a little bit deep, but thankfully no way through there. I just need to maybe be a little bit smarter with my lines, and I was a little bit more there, just making sure I'm not leaving doors open for Alonso.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
The DRS is opened, so we are still within that, or just outside of, right on the border, aren't we, actually, of the DRS with Ocon in front. So if we can stay there, get ourselves in a DRS train behind Giovinazzi, it looks like. Oh, we've got a big snap of oversteer there. Not the first time that's happened to me, actually. It did happen a little bit in free practice as well. And, well, let's open the door for Alonso to close right back in on the back of us. And unfortunately, it's closed the door on DRS as well. So hopefully we can make that back. Oh, there goes the 100-meter board. And it's open again, the door for Alonso, but he'll do well to get through there. Again, a little bit deep, just trying to make sure he didn't get past us. And this is where I just need to settle back down again, get back into the rhythm. It is really a very much a rhythm track, this one, I find, too, just because it is so twisty. It's the sort of track that if you, and this is where I struggle, as I've said before, if you really concentrate, you can actually reel off some good laps, but you really can't afford to let your mind wander at any point. I mean, even this front straight is not that long. So it's the sort of track, I think, on that front,
2.5 seconds.
Mentally, where I do start to struggle a little bit. But 2.5 seconds to Ocon, so we've lost out almost 2 seconds on that lap. So it wasn't a good one for us. And suddenly, well, looks like Tsunoda's got past Giovinazzi. That already happens. Either way, or maybe Tsunoda's at the front of that train. Either way, the points have just got a lot further away from us, haven't they? But the soft tyre runners, I think it was lap 6 or 7, wasn't it, that they're expected to come in. So Alonso's tyres should be starting to go away from him a little bit 4 laps in. He wouldn't have started in the top 10, would he? So he would be on fresh softs as opposed to those inside the top 10. Of course, this being F1 2021, that rule still applies. So if you're wondering why that is, let's see if we can start to close the gap. It looks like we've kept the gap relatively stable to Ocon this lap. So if I do a decent lap, without being spectacular, we're running the same pace as, well, let's be fair to Ocon, we're running the same pace as Giovinazzi in front of him on the harder compounded tyre. So we might be looking okay for sale. We've got DRS, of course, for Alonso now, and just a little bit too far back. He's got his nose up the inside there, but we can do just about enough. He's going to have a second dose of the DRS here. Looking down the outside, I've gone late on the brakes. He's going back up the inside. Oh, we've got the inside line, though, and that will end that chance. But let's have another look at that. A bit of a epic battle with Alonso for a third of a lap here. He just got far enough down the inside. We had to leave him a little bit of room. Then running wide onto the AstroTurf didn't help my exit. But again, we just sort of had the inside line, didn't we? I've got a little bit deep there. But in doing so, it's actually helped me because it gave us the inside line again. And Alonso had to get out of that. You don't get too wide through there very often. But again, look at that. It's lost us another half second, 0.6 of a second to that battle in front. And that is all time that we really probably can't afford to lose. Perhaps the benefit to it, though, is it's brought Lundgaard right up behind Alonso. And again, Alonso on the soft tyres, they're going to be wary. You can see our mediums are essentially still absolutely fine. Though we are only about halfway through our stint. I find as long as it's green like that, that you've pretty much got the same grip as you would do if they were brand new. And then sort of the more they start to fade to yellow, that's when you still have grip. It's not like you can't drive the car, but you do need to, you have lost a little bit. And that's when you start to lose a little bit of lap time. But right now, as the tyres are there, there's no reason why I can't be pumping in my personal best laps. So we will skip ahead now to lap 9. Now you will notice pit stops have happened. We are leading the race. Leclerc is behind us, and Gasly is behind him. So this is the scenario that I thought might be a possible pre-race, in that we went long and we found ourselves at the front with the leaders coming up behind us. Now, as much as I would like to just let Leclerc run off into the distance and maybe back Gasly and Verstappen into each other and then have them take each other out, which would help my championship, that's not really what we're going to do. We are going to try and hold this up as much as possible. Of course, I mean, we're not going to win this race, but the longer we keep them behind us, they obviously are that much closer to us then as well when we do make our stop. So they're going to have the fresher mediums. I think lap 11 is when we're due to come in. So we've got about another lap and a half of this, or 2.5 laps, almost 2 laps of it, let's say. So if we can manage to keep Leclerc behind, then it'll be a very good effort on the first part, as Gasly has now closed right up behind him, so we're giving Gasly the best chance we can of him winning the race. But ultimately what I need to do is not lose time. You know, we are maybe, capital M, and a very big question mark, in contention for some points. If we can, you know, do some solid laps here and not lose out too much. I mean, if you're looking at where we're going to come back out, we were sort of between Ocon and Alonso, weren't we? So that's a little ways back of the points just now, but we've got bigger problems right now with the Ferrari all over the back of us. And we go maybe a little bit deeper. Oh, we've left the door open, so there goes Leclerc, and we'll have to be a good teammate here.
He might make a mistake.
We sit wide, we let Gasly go and continue the battle for the lead, and dishonour his number 2 contract, but we can find him for that later, that's not a problem. And now we're just outside that second. If we could maybe just hang on in there for DRS, but I mean, they're on fresher tyres, they're better drivers, so unfortunately that didn't happen. But we'll skip ahead now to lap 11. We didn't lose any more positions, so let's go and see what happens in the pit stop.
Alright, well, it's not going too bad, is it? We're expected to come out in the 14th, just like I knew I figured out how to do on the game, so we'll see how that goes for us. Soft tyres, everybody else on the mediums. We'll see if we can salvage some points here, but I think we're going to get our Pierre Gasly tearing going.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So we have come out in P14, we've lost out to Alonso, but weirdly Verstappen is behind us, so he's obviously had an issue, most likely a damaged front wing. I would imagine he's coming to change. So we're sort of where we came in before the stop, so we have actually lost out a spot to Alonso. So we've got a 2.5 seconds behind him. Ocon, as they're still stuck behind Giovinazzi as well. So Giovinazzi is currently in 11th. So
some information on Tsunoda. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Alright, now Tsunoda was in the points, I believe. So suddenly, well, it depends what sort of mechanical problem, how serious, is it something that's going to make him retire? But suddenly the points might be within range. Now let's have a look up the road. Do we see Tsunoda in front of Giovinazzi? We don't. But what we have done is we've essentially taken the best part of 2 seconds out of this train ahead here in a lap. Now, can we get a good exit off the corner with our nice fresh soft tyres and get past Alonso onto the button? We'll get DRS as well. A purple final sector.
Good job, nice overtake.
And that should be that. I did briefly consider having a lunge at Ocon and getting both Alpines in the one straight, but that would have been ambitious, I think. So P11 is that little bit closer. Now, if we can make quick work of this and try and get after Tsunoda, there could be a point. Oh, we've got a good run on Ocon there. You can't really overtake here. We'll back out of that one. Run maybe ever so slightly wide and a little bit deep there as well. I just need to settle down. I mean, time is of the essence, isn't it? We need desperately to get past these two. And for once, we seem to look... We look like we're climbing all over the back of them, don't we? They're definitely holding us up. But the nature of the Hungaroring is that there's only really a spot to overtake on the front straight. Now, are we going to be able to lunge both of these guys into the first corner? I mean, it depends how bad. I mean, look at how much more extra speed we have going into corners. Let's see if we can do the Alonso trick again. Get round the outside. Ocon looks like he's staying to the inside. He must have seen that in his mirrors, so we'll have the outside line. That's absolutely fine. We've got DRS. We've gone the button. We're closing, closing, closing. Can we get one? Can we get two? We're going for the double overtake. We've gone in deep. Oh, and it's let one. It's let them both back up the inside of us. I got greedy and, oh, well, it may have cost us a lap. Stuck behind them again. Can we get Ocon up the inside there? No, just not quite far enough alongside. On the button again, but as we've seen, there's just no way past into this corner. Got to be careful not to bin it here and lose everything, but oh, the points. Are we going to live to regret not getting that lap? We lunge into Ocon into the chicane. Oh, and we've maybe caught him off guard there. It's let Giovinazzi escape a little bit more than I would have liked. I don't know if we're going to be able to be quick enough to catch him back up before the front straight. It looks like Ocon has got lost out to... Oh, Ricciardo's out of the session. Now, Ricciardo was in the points as well, wasn't he?
Front is 1.6 seconds.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, there's Ricciardo up to the outside there. So that's P11. So that means Giovinazzi in front of us is now a point. Oh, a little bit deep into the corner there. So trying desperately to get inside that second for DRS this lap, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen for us. And we can see there Tsunoda, it looks like he is in ninth, so he is about 6 seconds up the road of Giovinazzi. With 4 laps to go, that might be a little bit of an ask, mightn't it? But first things first, if we can get Giovinazzi, that gets us a point. And I think that's a decent recovery from not a great qualifying session. We're going to have Verstappen behind us as well. Now, how quickly is he going to catch up? I don't know if he's going to be on the soft tyres. If he's made 2 stops, he might be. Though I suspect if he had stopped before us, there's a chance he may have had to go on to a harder compound to reach the finish line. You can see there, we're catching Giovinazzi quite quickly, and you can just see in the background there that we've got a purple first sector as well. You can just see in the background there that Verstappen was behind the 2 Alpines. But of course it is so difficult to overtake him. If he does have the same compound to tie up, then it will be difficult to overtake. You can just see the tyres are starting to fade from green to yellow. So that means that we are starting to lose the out and out, just amazing grip that the soft tyres have. Now we're close to Giovinazzi this lap. If we can get a good exit with battery, well, it's not the greatest exit, but with battery and DRS, we can just see Tsunoda on that outboard shock there. We can just see in the turn 1 he goes there. Are we going to get the better of him here? We've just got the inside line. Make sure he can't get the cut back. And that is job done. P10 and into the points with 3 laps to go. 3 laps, and we have 3.5 seconds to catch Tsunoda. Now, really, given that you can only realistically overtake into turn 1, we actually have about 1.5 laps, don't we? Because we'll need to be right up behind him as we start the last lap. We essentially need to make the overtake turn 1 of the last lap. So we have a lap less than it perhaps says, or you know, realistically. But we've already taken almost a second out of him through the first half of the lap. If we can keep this up, then maybe, just maybe, we can get within DRS. We've got basically now a lap, a little bit over a lap to get within the second, and we're 2.1 seconds behind. We've taken 1.5 seconds out of him this lap. If we can do the same thing next lap, then that's going to be fine, because the DRS detection line is just there, I think. So we need 1 point. We don't even need 1 point. We need about 0.6 of a second this lap. We're 0.3 of a second behind DRS. We might even, if we get a really good run in this corner, DRS detection I think was just there, wasn't it, as you go into the corner. So we're just outside of DRS. And 2 laps to go, or lap and a bit to go. And, well, this is going to be very, very close. Now, what sort of mechanical issue does he have? Usually you'd imagine it's engine, wouldn't you? He's probably down on engine power. Now, if there's one track other than maybe Monaco where you had to have that to happen, it would probably be here. So it doesn't make it an easy overtake for Verstappen. He is still stuck behind the two Alpines. But let's have a look here. We're going to purple first sector again. We're 2/10 outside of DRS, and we're running out of time here. Can we get within this DRS? We need to be closer. Never mind inside the second. We need to be about half a second back, I think, to be able to get a proper lunge into turn 1. Are we close enough? We're inside DRS. We are inside DRS. We're a long way back, though. Are we going to be able to get a move done into turn 1? If not turn 1, and into turn 2. We start the final lap. I don't think turn 1's realistic. Can we get a good run out of here and then nail him into turn 2? If not, it's unlikely to happen. Oh, it's not a good exit. You can see that the front tyres are now into the yellow, meaning that we've lost perhaps a tyre advantage. And it's frustrating. We are still faster than him. We are definitely faster than him. But unless another purple first sector. We were able to overtake Ocon into the chicane here. I've gone a little bit too deep there, though. Just desperately trying to catch up and falling a little bit short there. We get a good exit. We stay close through here. Is there a chance into one of the final few corners? I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? There's, what, 3 corners to go. And, I mean, that was maybe one chance to overtake. Could we do something around the last corner, get a good run off? But I think we're just a little bit too far back even for that, aren't we? And, well, it just wasn't quite to be another lap, and I think we would have got Tsunoda into turn 1 this lap. But there we go.
Just run out of the tyres at the end there. Couldn't quite get Yuki.
Taking care of the car on the way in.
That was fun, though. I enjoyed that. Surely driver of the day. Thank you, Anthony Davidson.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Look, I'm not going to get into it. There's obviously those that are going to disagree with Pierre being the number 2 driver. But the way I see it, he failed to win the race today, whilst I showed the cool, calm, calculated recovery drive of a team leader. Well, that was enjoyable. I did enjoy the race. Just at the end there, I think we would have got Tsunoda with another lap of another chance on the DRS there, but unfortunately, yeah, just the real Christmas of the tyres just left us on that last lap or 2 there after we got past Giovinazzi and just couldn't quite run him down quick enough. But there we go. I said at the start I'd be delighted with a point, and that's pretty satisfying, I've got to say. It's a real mature drive of a team leader, isn't it, if I don't say so myself. But a good day for Gasly, because Verstappen actually finished behind me. So he's made an extra stop in there somewhere. And so that means if we look at the championship, unfortunately I've dropped down another spot. So I'm still it's in the contract now, I'm number 1, but Gasly takes the championship lead ahead of Verstappen and also Sergio Perez. And if we go and have a look at the constructors standings, we are 20 points back. So it's still very much on that, isn't it? But I was very kind too to Gasly, you may notice there. If I hadn't let him pass the way I did, then maybe I would have had that extra bit of time to get Tsunoda. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's probably more important that he got past me there than the other way around. So anyway, there we go. We have scored a point in Hungary from a very poor qualifying. So there we go, another bad day in the rivalry with Perez. I think the issue we have here is that all the cars are getting better, so I don't have the car advantage and I'm getting shown up a little bit. But as I say, it was still enjoyable. So that's all good. If you did enjoy it, of course, make sure you hit thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. We'll be back next time. It is Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix. We weren't there last season, I don't believe, so it'll be good to get back to that track. That's one that I enjoy. Whether or not I'm good at it, I guess time will tell. But yeah, that was not bad. I did enjoy that. But yeah, just a little bit annoyed I couldn't get Tsunoda at the end there. But until next time, I'll see you in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Take care.